running up to your favorite beach, knowing you're about to do something crazy. This kid, who outsmarted the FBI, stole 3 expensive speedboats. How did he become the world's most wanted criminal at such a young age? I am the Mondli, and let's dive deep into how this mastermind went from being a small-time criminal to a speedboat thief. Colton's rise to notoriety unfolded his biggest downfall. This kid wasn't just jacking cars and planes for excitement. He did it with finesse, like a double agent on an insane secret mission. Only this time, he took orders from nobody. As his luck was running out, cops were on his tail. Cornered in Kamano Islands, Colton faced a Goliath ahead. No swimming, no scuba diving, not even fishing like the 12 disciples, just straight out vibes. But doubt casted aside, Colton grabbed the $250,000 boat from the dock line like it was nothing. He was not concerned about sinking. He felt afraid of being locked up. Behind every bold move, there's a backstory shaped by a system that left kids like Colton behind. His was not about rebellion. It was his frustration towards society that barely even listens until it is too late. And I'm not gonna waste time traveling back to the pandemic. We were warned, and we won't make the same mistake again. His major concern was not over right or wrong, but rather the insufferable grasp of a broken system that haunted him and other kids worldwide for decades. He sought not to tear through the mold of his future, but completely eradicate it. He had never been around water before, nor drove a powerful machine. Yet, as the weight of his circumstance wore down upon him, he reflected on the nature of being the world's most wanted criminal. His dilemma was clear: either leap into the unknown or surrender to a system that would keep him down. Eventually, Colton hopped over the lone static speedboat, powered up the engine, and drove off, leaving behind a moment that would alter the landscape of his life. This was a culmination of months turned into years of systemic neglect. Colton's actions were his loss of faith in himself to do good in a society that promised the world to kids like him, but only delivered barriers. That stolen boat was more to Colton than an escape vehicle. It symbolized defiance, mirroring the chaos that became his life. A life with no pause button, no rewinds, even for a split second. Now imagine being surrounded by water above a little boat for what felt like a long time. No cell phone, no charger, no food, no dry, clean clothing, and no extra gas tank. Just you, like some anime character on a character redemption arc, with a car that walked above an ocean like St. Peter and Jesus Christ in the book of Matthew. These friends would have never believed that Colton made it alive once he edged past the shore in San Juan Island, Washington. The truth, however, was far stranger than anyone could have predicted. After crash landing his second airplane, he fled from the horrific crash site with both his legs barefoot, like Isho Speed with the fan in Singapore. What kept Colton going even when community leaders, elders, and bounty hunters wanted him dead? Colton was intrigued by their determination or will to catch him. He answered, "The hardest choices require the strongest will," type shit. Eventually, he shattered the barricades at Orcas Island Seaport, took off with the twin-engine speedboat, and cornered himself into a dead end after illegally crossing the US-Canada border. As soon as Colton reached the shore, he pressed the notification bell, just like you did, turned off the speedboat engine, and bolted straight to the community of Kristen before he stole his third airplane. Imagine me swiping this much soup thickener, salt, cubes, and spice in the kitchen. My mother would have mass incarcerated me into the shadow realm, and all my family members would be left with nothing but empty stomachs. Talk about ending hunger and bringing world peace. Colton was not done in his grueling battle with water. He knew more about space than the sea, so so he challenged his limiting beliefs. So he stole a racing boat and drag race with sharks, Oreo four-headed ass-looking whales and fishes to Oregon before he successfully sold his life story for a potential movie. The last one is better. We're making it out of the stock market crash with this one. After Colton crash landed his fifth and final airplane in the Bahamas, Colton explored its topology for a hideout from the street pimps. Don't ask me why a white boy was spotted wandering barefoot with no parent nor legal guardian in a densely populated Bahamian community. This is an exhausting head scratcher, especially in places where many resemble Dr. Umar without the Kente Kufi hat. In my experience, approaching strangers is a skill I adapted growing up in a huge, locally prominent black family. I would have no clue who this kid was if I saw him across the Bahamian shore. I might just call him the demo Billie Jean from the yield passenger sign. The kid is not my son. As this boy Colton moved around, it became harder to hide from locals. Bro, they had wanted signs of his face stuck all over the place. Imagine trying to duck cops with your coconut shaved face looking ass on every wall. Fortune struck as he snuck into an empty hotel at the 11th hour. You had to see it. This looked like it came straight from an action movie. Just when the street pimps thought they had him, boom! Colton slipped out of their grip.
Kinda like how Hoodlana Blakely has me in her grip, you feel me?
Finally, as fate would have it, Colton spotted a stranded speedboat amidst a wild goose chase and jumped in without any hesitation. The adrenaline of the escape clouded into the reality of his destiny. He kickstarted the speedboat, drove off, and never looked back. Psych, stupid! I wanted to see if your TikTok goldfish attention span knee-jerking ass were paying attention. As the street pimps closed on Colton, he crashed straight into a sandbar and got stuck. At that moment, he rose from his deathbed, turned the speedboat on, but it was too late after his boat engine got shot by the street pimps. Faced with cell block 1, gangbangers, and the death penalty as his biggest fears, he faced an existential dread that led him to his inevitable downfall. The street pimps talked him out of unaliving himself and cuffed his bleeding wrist up. Colton was charged with 67 felony attempts. The end game? 6 years in cell block 1. But let us be honest with ourselves. Colton was not the type to let prison break him. Instead of feeling sorry for himself, he learns from all his actions and was released from prison a new man, like a video game character preparing against his final boss. Colton's life didn't have to end this way. He was not brought up in the best circumstance possible, nor was he well positioned to add value to himself. However, he transformed people around him, confronted his limited beliefs, and accomplished what many envisioned of themselves in their lives. But his actions tore up the streets and crumbled his path to redemption. Until then, everyone, I am the Mondli, and this is good.